Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to stick to Sweden, but we're going to head north a little bit and revisit one of the older and more established craft breweries here. And this is a brewery that I always enjoy visiting. In fact, you've seen me review a good number of beers from this brewery now. So for this one we are going to head to Dalarna County, Dalarna län as we would say in Swedish, and we're doing another video for Oppigårds Bryggeri. This one is the Untappd double IPA coming in at 8% ABV. And this particular beer was released on the 1st of August 2019 through the sort of local and small assortment releases that they do. So this is apparently a continuation of the Botan double IPA that they released a few months back, which was a really good beer. So I'm very curious to see how this one turns out. The hops in this beer are Citra, Mosaic and Cashmere, which is a really kind of popular hop. It's becoming more and more popular. It's a really nice lemon limey hop from memory. If I think I had one or two beers that have had that in it, but it's a really nice lemon limey hop going by my memory. But looking forward to trying this one. The new beers that Oppigårds are putting out seem to be pretty good quality, and I always enjoy reviewing these on the channel. So hopefully this is another good one, and I hope that you guys enjoy my take on this one. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Oppigårds before. No doubt I will add some more in the fairly near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Oppigårds Bryggeri then. So as I mentioned earlier, Oppigårds Bryggeri are one of the more established breweries in Sweden, or the more established craft breweries I guess I should say. They were founded back in 2003 and they can be found in Hedemora, which is a little bit, it's in Dalarna County to the northwest of Stockholm, and you can find it kind of between Borlänge and Falun, two of the bigger towns up there. But the original brewery actually sits on the 250-year-old Falkström family farm in a small wooden building, which was apparently constructed back in 1896. But this space was originally used for flax dressing and also for their great-grandfather's metalsmithing business as well. But all of the beers were originally brewed in this old building, but they now have a new malt house as well, and they've also got a new, more modern brewery too. But the brewery was founded back in 2003 by Björn Oppigård, who wanted to revive the family farm and also to revive the old tradition of Swedish farmhouse ales, which were really kind of the norm in Sweden until the sort of modern, you know, like macro lagers came in the 1800s, and this made the farmhouse beers unfortunately rather unprofitable, so a lot of the farmhouse breweries just stopped making them. But this brewery's become very popular, and this has allowed the Falkström family to continue to make the living on the farm as they've done since the 1700s. But in their first year they produced only 8,000 litres of beer and sold it very locally, but now they produce well over 1 million litres of beer per year. They've got a new Italian brew kit in there. They had a few teething problems to actually get that up and running, engineers coming over from Italy and things like that, but it seems to be working very well now, and they've got a production capacity of around 2.5 million litres of beer per year. And it's cool to see that a brewery that is kind of so established, they've got a very good range, but it's cool to see that they are putting out new beers like this, and the new beers that they're producing are pretty damn good. In fact, so long may their experimentation continue. When it comes to my favourite beers from this brewery, the Turbo IPA is a really nice kind of old school West Coast double IPA. The Turbo Stout is also a really good beer. India Tribute, if I'm remembering the name correctly, is also quite nice, and the Amarillo and the Single Hop Ale are both pretty good as well. I mean, this is a brewery that they've got a very kind of classic range, if you like, that was sort of groundbreaking in Sweden when it comes out, and they're just starting to do the more kind of experimental beers now. And the new Sweden IPA, of course, is probably their main kind of flagship beer now. That's definitely one that you need to try at some point as well. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about the brewery just now. If you want to learn a little bit more, of course, you can check out the brewery website, and of course you can follow them on Facebook as well. One beer I would love to try from this brewery is the Hedemora Dunkel, but I've never ever seen that in bottle. I don't know if that's a keg only beer. In fact, I'll need to maybe email them and ask them about that one, because that's a style that I absolutely do love. But yeah, let's get on and actually have a taste of this beer and see how we get on then. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, this one is an 8%. IPA. This one, I'm not sure if it's a New England or a West Coast IPA, but I can tell you that it is hopped with Citra, Mosaic and Cashmere. So we know that Citra is one of the classic high alpha acid American hops, mangoes and a little bit of fruity complexity. Mosaic is known for its tangerine notes, of course, and Cashmere is one that's kind of come on the scene fairly recently, and it's known for being quite lemon and limey. But yeah, really nice. And as I said, this is one that you know, this one is a continuation of the Botan. It's a development of the Botan recipe that they released a couple of months back, if I remember correctly. But there you can see Björn Oppigård's signature on the side of this one, and yeah, nicely presented. Slightly more modern take on the Oppigård artwork that they've had for a very long time. So let's get it out and we will get on with the tasting. If I can get my nail under this, there we go. Yeah, so nice little 330ml can, this one. It's interesting that they seem to stick to bottles for their more classic beers, if you like, and the New Sweden IPA, but when it comes to these sort of experimental beers that they're releasing, they have them in cans, although in fairness, the Norn Pale Ale seems to have been popular and been kept on, so they are releasing that one in cans as well. But yeah, I like the artwork on this one. It's a little bit different, not different. But yeah, as you can see with this beer, I think quite obviously this one is a New England IPA. You can see there's a solid half finger of a frothy, perfect white head, not even creamy, definitely a perfect white head. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But you know, overall, it does look really quite nice. In fact, if I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see that this one is pretty damn hazy, which is what you'd expect from a New England IPA. So nothing overly surprising about this beer in terms of its appearance. So let's take a closer look at the aroma and just see how we get on with this one. Ooh, that's pretty good, I have to say. The Cashmere, I mean, you know, Citra and Mosaic are hops that I'm very, very familiar with, but the Cashmere really is adding a nice, interesting complexity to that. So, let's start with the fruity side then, since the Cashmere, for me at least, is the focus of the aroma. You're going to get mangoes out of this one, which is the kind of classic sign of Citra. You're going to get some of that lighter kind of juicy tangerine in there, but the lemon limey qualities of the Cashmere really shine through on this one. It does lean towards the limey side of things. I want to say there's a little touch of a melony note to this one as well, to be honest. Like, if you take the aroma in quite deeply, you really start to smell just a little bit of that melon out of there. And it's interesting, it does smell a little bit like, to me there's almost a little bit of like a peachy note to this one as well. It does have a little bit of a peachy sharpness almost at the back of the nose, so that's quite interesting. It does really smell like a fruit salad, this beer, to be honest with you, but like I say, mangoes, oranges, good mix of lemon and limey quality in there, but to me I want to say there's a bit of melon and a bit of peach in there too. And the melons really kind of, it's almost like they sort of round off the aroma. They stop the limes getting too sharp, if you like, the lemons and the limes from becoming too sharp. That's an interesting thing about this beer, actually. So yeah, I really like how the fruity side of this beer comes across. So just pay attention to that, actually, when you go and smell this beer. In terms of the green side of the hops, for me, this one does have a good little bit of a floral quality to it, and that almost balances out some of the lemon limey qualities that this beer has as well. But at the same time, you do have a little bit of a grassiness in there, and that's sort of sitting with the melony notes that I was talking about too. So there's a real complexity to the hops in this one. They have only put 3 hops in this beer, right enough, unless they've used a bittering hop as well. But you know, usually they say on the website if they do that with these beers. But for me, the fruity and hoppy side of this beer is really quite interesting and quite unusual in my mind. On the malty side of things then, this is interesting, this one. To me, this the malty side of this beer isn't quite as punchy as you're going to come across from some beers that you'll get in this style, but it leans towards the oaty and slightly milky, not milky, lactosey, kind of milkshakey type aroma, to be honest with you. There's a little bit of biscuit in there, but you can smell the oaty creaminess, and there's also a little bit of that sort of lighter quality in there as well, which is kind of nice. So this beer really, in terms of the New England IPA, it really leans towards the hoppy side of things on its aroma. It's got some lovely fruity qualities in there, but the malt base just takes a little bit of a back seat actually, which is kind of interesting. I'm really curious to see how it turns out in the flavour there. A very light smelling malt base of this one. But let's have a taste of this beer then and see how we get on. This one is the Uta. The name of this beer incidentally is taken from the name Utanför, which is, it kind of means like outside of, so you're talking outside of a town or something like that. So and this is apparently where the name of this beer comes from. But it comes in at 8% ABV, a New England style double IPA, this one from Oppigårds in Hedemora in Dalarna county here in Sweden. Let's get stuck in. Slanja, skål. That's really good. Yeah, I mean, this is the interesting thing. When this brewery produced the new Sweden IPA, that must be about 2-3 years ago now that beer's been out. You kind of knew they were on to a winner with that. And it was one of the interesting things. I was very curious to see where they would go with it, but oddly enough, it's only quite recently that it really is only quite recently that they've started experimenting a little bit more with different beers, like the Norn Pale Ale, the Botan, and now this one. But I tell you something, the quality of these IPAs that they're putting out there is pretty good. I mean, when it comes to New England IPAs in Sweden, of course, everyone's going to think about like Spike Brewery or you know, Stigbergets and OO Brewing and some of the other Gothenburg breweries and stuff. But I tell you something, Oppigårds, one of the more established and older breweries in Sweden, they are just equally as capable in my mind of doing these beers. These are as good as some of the ones you're going to get from the likes of Stigbergets and OO Brewing and things like this too. And Apex Brewing now are another one that are kind of popping up too. That's a really solid beer in my mind, so well done to Oppigårds. So yeah, make sure you have a go at this one. This is really pretty nice actually. So yeah, let's try and break down the flavour of this one then. So in the middle of your palate, you can feel that the pale malty side of this beer just blanket in the middle of your tongue. Very quickly that it kind of just thickens up a little bit and you start to get the oaty side out of this beer. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of a wheaty malt in there as well. I suspect that the malt base in this beer is German, just going by the kind of feel that it has. It has that kind of typical German smoothness to it, this beer, and I have to admit that's something I really like about European New England IPAs actually. But yeah, the malt base in this one is very kind of straight up. There's a teensy little bit of biscuit in the middle of your palate, but really this is kind of a pretty straight up and almost kind of flat malt base. Just a little bit of wheatiness, a little bit of pale malt, and a little touch of that oaty creaminess there as well. It really smooths out a bit the further you go into the aftertaste. The focus of this beer is most definitely on the hoppy side of things. So yeah, for me, the hoppy side of this beer then, if you go towards the back corners of the palate, you've got a nice little touch of earthiness there. And that'll be from the mosaic, and it's quite minimal actually. It's not too prominent that, but as you come further forward along the sides of your palate, it smooths out really nicely, and then on the front corners of the palate, you just get a nice little touch of a floral aromaticity out of this one. Not too spicy, but just a little bit kind of dry to kind of mix in with these lemon limey qualities that you're getting out of the beer. Then around the very front curve of the palate, it's just a little bit lighter and more grassy actually. But behind the front curve of the tongue, that's where you get that nice oily bubble where those juicy fruity esters start to come out of the beer. And this is where the beer really shines in my mind. If you go to the back of that oily bubble that I was talking about, straight up it's mangoes. You come further forward from that, you start to get the more tangerine-y, orangey notes that you would expect of the mosaic. So the Citra and the mosaic are there, but they're in a way they're kind of sitting in the background. They're sort of taking a back seat to the cashmere in my opinion. If you go on to the very tip of your tongue, the cashmere, the lemon limey qualities are really pushing their way out of this one, and it's a complete blend. It really is a complete blend of those two fruits. It's not leaning more towards the limey side of things. You can get the lemon in there and you can also get the lime. There's a little teeny bit of a melony flavour to this one. I mean, the further you go into the aftertaste, you will get a little bit out of that. But to me, it's very kind of straight up. The aroma is a little touch more complex on the fruity side of things than the actual flavour is. But this is a very, very solid New England IPA, this one. So, as I say, big thumbs up to Oppigårds for this one. They've done it really solidly. Sometimes that's what you want. You just want the flavours to blend together nicely. And that's what they've pulled off here with this one pretty solidly in my mind. Yeah, I mean, the cashmere in this beer really is playing a very kind of interesting role, actually, so keep an eye on that. But yeah, in terms of the mouthfeel then, this one overall, I'd say it's at the bottom end of mid-bodied. Carbonation's very smooth in this one. It does lean towards the smooth side of things. There's a little bit of there is a sort of wetness. There's a little touch of wetness to the mouthfeel on this one as well, but mainly it's quite a smooth New England IPA. The malt base, like I said, is very kind of smooth. It thickens up the more you drink of this beer, to be honest with you. But very smooth, not really much sweetness to it either, but you've got a nice sort of floral aromaticity to this beer as well. I mean, this beer by no means is it going to blow the head off you in terms of hoppy bitterness. I think you're talking about 25 IBUs with this one at the absolute most, but you've got some really nice juicy fruity qualities in there, and I like how that fruity side of the beer comes out. I mean, it's got a little bit of the juiciness from the mangoes and the oranges, the tangerines rather, but then it does get a little bit dry from the lemon and limey qualities of the beer as well. But overall, a really nice beer, this one, and I'm glad that I was able to review this for you. So I hope you guys have enjoyed my take on this one. Compared to some of the other New England IPAs that I've had, this one definitely is a kind of smoother, easy drinking one. It's a bit dangerous that this one is 8% ABV, to be honest, and you can detect that it has a little bit of that booziness, but it's dangerously drinkable for that ABV. But another really nice one from Oppigårds Bryggeri, and you know, have a go at this one for yourself and just see what you think. I think they've done a good job of this. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. The Uta double IPA from Oppigårds Bryggeri in Hedemora in Dalarna County to the northwest of Stockholm. A lovely beer, this one, and I'm glad that I was able to review this for you. So yeah, thank you again for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Oppigårds Bryggeri as well, and you know, check out this one for yourself. I highly recommend this. A really, really solid beer, and I look forward to seeing the next instalment of beers from Oppigårds. So yeah, until the next time, it's Slanja just now. I'll catch you guys later. Slanja, Skull, make sure you have a go at this one. Cheers.